Oh no, you're here.
Yeah, dude. There we go. All
All
right, let's
right.
do it.
Cool, man. Cool. So I'm not gonna front whatsoever, man. I with this podcast, I don't have an introduction. And, I'm very indecisive when it comes to these things. But I do go by Tony Oddball. This is an odd conversation here with a very special guest.
Pawz motherfucking one. What up? I
What's
keep
up? What's
forgetting
up?
what camera I'm looking at. I got like fucking 45 cameras going at one time. Bam, bam, bam.
Hey, man, you
It's
gotta
like a
get your
Michael
good
Bay
side somehow.
all explode at once.
Yeah, you have to get your good side. That's one thing. So, I've been looking at some of your, I did some research before this interview even happened, and I can't find any recent interviews as of right now. So I'm just gonna run through some basic questions immediately before we go in depth. But so for starters, like where you from, and then what got you started making music.
Where I'm from, sorry about that. Fuck it. That's as good as it's gonna get, motherfuckers. I was born in Compton, California. Lived all over different parts of Southern California. Um, Norwalk's probably where I spent the most time. I always say that's where I got the most scars.
Oh no shit.
Um,
I used to I live down the street from there pretty much on Norwalk and Slauson and Whittier.
oh, okay, yeah. Shit, I'm in Whittier right now.
Ah, okay, cool, cool.
So yeah, that's I've been out on this side, but lived in different cities. Lived all over, and I just moved from Pomona to here. So
Hmm.
living in different areas, you see different shit, a lot of similarities, a lot of little differences, and makes you appreciate shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, and then so what got you started? This whole career path with music.
Well, shit. Music has always been around pretty much for everybody.
Hmm.
Like you'd be a miserable motherfucker without music. Um,
Very true.
just growing up around it. Uh, and I don't have any musicians in my family that I'm aware of, as far as like somebody that played guitar or drums or anything like that. I don't know anybody. But now my sister plays. She plays the sax. She plays the clarinet, a couple instruments. My son plays keyboard, electric guitar, bass guitar.
Mm.
So I guess from this point on, like now there's music in the family. So the hip hop shit. I mean, I started in graffiti, doing that, and then it just kind of evolved into doing the like freestyling, rhyming with the homies, getting drunk, getting high, and just then battling different people, and then getting locked up for doing graffiti. After a while, that shit got kind of old, and when you're in there, you got nothing but time, so you're writing rhymes, you're meeting other cats that rap, and you're kind of going back and forth. For me, it was just trying to decide, like, all right, well, this graph shit is getting me caught up. I love this hip hop shit. I love the rap shit. So let me see if I could take the little bit of raw talent that I had and kind of polish that and turn it into music.
Mm.
And I wanted to make music. I didn't want to just rap. Like I wanted to do like Scarface. I wanted to do Nas. I wanted to do like songs that had an impact. So I decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go for it. So I started just devouring every scrap of every interview, every magazine that came through all the jails I was in as a kid, and learning the business. So at the time, like Master P was, one of the dudes. Cash Money was barely coming out. I know I'm dating myself, but who gives a fuck? And just kind of learning the ins and outs
Mm.
of the business side as much as I could from these magazines, and then checking the quotables, seeing who had the best rhymes, album reviews. But I would read them backwards because I didn't want to miss anything. So I'd start from the back and then read it forward, and then reread it, so I didn't miss anything. Take little notes or whatever, and at the same time writing rhymes and freestyling with different cats from different gangs, different tagging crews in jail and juvenile hall, and then finally getting out and like, all right, I'm gonna do this, and then taking what I had and pushing forward with that.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I mean, would you also write Pawz One back in the day?
Yeah, so
Uh-huh.
I don't know how many times I've kind of said this, but so at the time I was doing graph under this name, and I've been through a couple names, and you kind of burn them out after a while
Yeah.
because they catch on. So they're like, oh, well, that's fucking so and so. They put a name to a face, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the last name that I had, so I was like, you know what? I'll do the music under this name in the meantime until I come up with something cooler, which I never fucking did. So I just stuck with it, and like this has been my name. So fuck it, just run with it.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that because I did graffiti back in the day as well. I wasn't no like top tier artist either, but it's also like it was fun when I was into it, and then again after a while, I don't know what it was. It just became oversaturated in my city at the time, and just everybody just wanted to do it, and it's like all right, now you just like now it just kind of took the rebellion part of it out because now it's becoming a trend instead. But
yeah, so the vandalism. That's another thing too. Is like doing the art part of it. Some guys are blessed and they're able to do that shit and just come up with dope shit. And then some guys are just straight up vandals, scribing on shit, catching tags. I was kind of in the middle, but my thing was mainly like characters. So I would do the vandalism shit and those throw ups or whatever. But then after a while, I got better with the characters because I felt like I didn't really see a lot of characters out there, and the ones that I did were really dope. So that became kind of my niche.
yeah,
So
kind of like your
I started
mascot.
doing that. Yeah. So that was kind of my thing. But yeah, the vandalism part is really what drew me into it too, aside from the art, because you're able to get up and blast your name and your crew or whatever, and it's just when you're younger, it's like fuck everything. Even to this day, I got homies that are older that are still out there painting on shit just to do it. It has nothing to do with catching fame or doing a piece for Coca-Cola or whatever the fuck. It's just, I'm a fucking vandal. I'll be a vandal for life,
Yeah, absolutely. And like what I said on my last interview, I interviewed Sylvan Gold, just like a couple hours ago, and what I talked to her about was how like graffiti really goes hand in hand with hip hop. Like I don't know many hip hop, not hip hop. I don't know about many people that tag and still do all that kind of artwork that don't listen to hip hop. It works hand in hand. Whether you have some like Redman in the speakers or even like some underground shit that's like such as like Tumex or anybody. It's just like it's all the fundamentals that really make hip hop what it is. It's always been like a rebellion type of spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was like perfectly synchronized. Coming out and then having Ice Cube painting to Ice Cube or painting to hieroglyphics. It made sense. And then I would always trip out and ask cats what they were listening to when they painted, because you kind of want to know once you see what they come up with. The shit that they throw up. You're like, damn, what the fuck was he on acid? What the fuck was he listening to? And where did that come from? And sometimes it would align where you're like, okay, that makes sense. And then other times it would just, they'd be listening to some rap shit you would never think. But it was 9 times out of 10 it was hip hop.
Yeah. Shit, man. So I mean, because when I was like looking into your music, I know you made a song called "Paint the City," and it's of course your music video was set around a bunch of like graffiti pieces in the alleyways of like LA or whatnot.
Yeah, like every other rap video ever.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why I was happy to be able to touch on that graffiti aspect because I haven't spoke about that in like years. And I've always just found a fascination with it because I remember like being in high school and watching the TKO like videos, and they would always be like throwing up like their whole like pretty much catalog. And so I've always just found like a fascination for it. And so in order to be able to talk about it out loud and like get inside of other people's experiences with it, and now they're making music, it's pretty dope. I've always found it really cool to check out.
So something like this kind of lets people know how closely related these two elements of the culture really are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they all kind of coincide, and they complement each other. But I feel like graph and rhyming are pretty closely related. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's also a play on words too. You know what I mean? You get to mess around with the spelling, and then it still, has double entendre elements. So you kind of work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what got you into calling yourself Pawz One?
Shit. Honestly, it was just leaving my mark on the world. So like, that was one thing it's one thing you would see everywhere. You would see like if it was, a cat, a dog, a bear, bear tracks. You would see animals literally leave their imprint wherever they go. And then doing certain crazy things, like people consider you an animal, like, yo, he's a beast or whatever. And then come to find out years later, I didn't know, but my first word was dog. And then I was born the year of the dog. Just all these kind of like weird, not to get too philosophical or whatever, but it's kind of weird, but it made sense. And it was basically that. Just leave my mark on the world. And that's kind of what it is now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I like that because I'm the same way whenever I tell people about like, those philosophical thoughts, and even like as middle school as it can be, as very simple as one thing can be, you can also stretch it out for like a bigger meaning. Yeah. So it's pretty dope. And one thing I do want to speak on, because I did like to pick your Poison album, but I do want to talk about your latest one that came out. Because I did look on your Instagram, and you also said it was your final project, which is Watch and Learn.
Well, it's not my final project. It's my final album because there's a lot of factors, but pretty much I feel like a lot of people don't listen to albums anymore. If Madlib and Freddie Gibbs, if they drop an album, 14, 17 tracks, people will eat it up. Benny the Butcher, certain cats, like, people will gravitate towards it and devour it and go through the whole entire thing, But I feel like with my shit, less is more. Because I'm independent, I got to be cautious of budgets, I got to be cautious of time and all those things, because I'm pretty much doing it DIY, So I don't have the luxury to sit in the studio and pay $500 a song for this and then mix and master. Like, I don't have that. And then also my fan base is constantly being pulled by these other people that I'm mentioning. So, Eminem drops an album overnight, literally no promotion, because he's fucking Eminem.
Yeah.
I can't do that. If I drop an album on the same day, we're not direct competition, but yeah, he casts a pretty big fucking shadow. So that being the case, why would I spend 2-3 years working on an album when I could do an EP that's 6 solid songs and people can listen to it on their way to work? Because honestly, I feel like a lot of the people that listen to my shit are either working or they're going to college. Like the homie Razcast says, he said the two main groups of people in his fan base are people in college, people in prison. And the reason why is because we put a lot of thought into the rhymes and the concepts in our music. So it isn't stuff to just regurgitated concepts and punchlines and just slap some auto-tune and throw some hi-hats under it and call it a fucking day. We do put a lot of thought into it. That being the case, I like to keep my audience in my head when I put stuff out. So if I can make it where you got to do some homework and you can listen to my entire project in 32 minutes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Get a workout in, on your way home from work, you can hear the entire thing, and it helps you break down every little thing that is in there, that we threw in there, every little nuance, every little sound effect, every little sound bite, kick, snare, hi-hat, hook, bridge, concept, verse, punchline. That's why I said it's my final album, because, when you come into hip-hop and you rap, everybody raps, but you figure, like, you have this dream album that you want to make where you're going to have beats from this guy, features from this guy, a hook from that guy, artwork by this guy. But the deeper you get into it, you realize, like, yo, that's just going to cost you, like, that's a $50,000 album. And you start looking at your bank account and you're like, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. And nobody's going to come save you. It doesn't matter how dope or how talented you are, or even how hard you hustle, for that matter. No one's coming to save you. Now, there's certain people that will funnel you through a process and put you in the right place to be seen by certain people, and then you get put on. But let's be honest, people that look like me, you don't really see them starring in a lot of movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's your nationality, by the way?
Say it again?
I'm sorry. What was your nationality, by the way? I don't mean to cut you off.
I'm Mexican and Native American.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if I'm 70-30, whatever. I just say fucking half and half.
Okay.
100% asshole. But yeah, so pretty much, I understand that hip hop is a branch of the music industry, which is just another branch of the entertainment industry. So that being the case, I'm probably not going to be able to make the album I want and get beats from the producers I want and get features from these people because I don't have the budget and they're not knocking on my door. So why the fuck am I going to keep sitting here stressing about that when I can hit the fan base I already have? You know what I'm saying? And give them what they want. They can grow with me. I see their experiences on Instagram, Snapchat, etc. So like things they're going through, like I throw that shit in my music and vice versa. Like, yo, we're on the same page. So I'm rapping for real human beings. And I'm going to continue to do that. I might not necessarily make another 15-track album, but I don't see, stopping music. I don't see that happening anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? But I'm done with the album shit, though.
Yeah, I feel you on that because I do remember when Kanye West had this one run. I think it was back in 2017 where he had like this he released like an album from the record label every week, but every album had 7 songs on it. So that's why he started off with Daytona with Pusha T, 7 straight songs, and honestly, like that made it that much better personally. Even though like I felt it could have been longer, it was really
Well, that's the point. That's the point is you wanted more.
Yeah.
But you out of the 7, you got to think about it like averages. Out of the 7 songs, you probably like 5. And that's a good batting average. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
5 out of 7 is great. You do 17 songs and people like 4, that's not so great. It's pretty shitty. So looking at it from that standpoint, it makes sense too, because every song costs money. So why overproduce if people aren't going to consume that much music anyway? Especially from an independent artist. I mean, like Atmosphere can do it. He's indie, but a cat like myself, I can't do that. I can't afford to do that.
Yeah. And so I don't know. That's the part of becoming an up and coming artist, especially self-made and very independent. But how did you come across below system?
Shit, I put out my first album. I was in the process of doing that, and I think it was on Twitter, and I sent him the stuff that I had, the mixes that I had at the time, the rough versions. I sent them that, and they were digging it. And I was telling them, hey, I'm I'm looking for a record deal, basically, which is like, the typical shit. But I already understood the industry at that time. So I knew I wasn't going to get, $1 million advance and be flown here and do this and do that. I knew those days were dead. I was just happy with having some type of help to get my first album out there. And doing that was a blessing because I got to work with Master Ace. I got to tour the world. I got to do a lot of stuff. And coming from where I come from, being broke and doing a lot of shit yourself, I got to show a lot of people from here like, yo, yeah, I was in the county jail with you, but I just came back from Spain and, you're doing tattoos, you got a clothing brand, do your fucking thing. You know what I mean? So that's where that came from. I just sent them what I had. And I can't speak for them, but we're still working to this day. I think it was them just basing it off the quality of the music.
Because I'm not gonna front, they have a pretty great roster from what I know. I mean, because of them, because of Chewy, that's how I found out about the label. And then of course you have Triz on there, and you have all these different types of talent. And I think that's really great because it's like a TDE type of thing where you guys have like a strong, rock, set of team. Yeah, that's your your core.
And you know what? All those dudes are dope, and the dope part is like none of us sound the same. So, we have similarities. There's certain subject matter. There's certain things. There's substance. There's different things where shit aligns. But there's originality. Like they sound like them. I sound like me, and I'm proud of that to be on that label with these dudes. And then plus the veterans that are on there too that inspired me to do what I do. So it's a solid team. You know what I mean? And every time I see them doing something, it makes me feel good too because shit, they're from out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's again, it's a blessing to be on Below System and to work with them. And they've helped me and then all the artists that I'm on there with because they're putting out quality music and shit. Honestly, like I'm trying to catch up to Chewy and Triz. Like their catalog is insane. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like, cause honestly, when I got the interview with Chewy, I feel like I talk about him every interview, but it's like kind of hard because we're on this lockdown, and so it's only been like 2 weeks since then. But I remember when I did my research on him, I did not know how many fucking albums or mixtapes that dude even had. And so
Yeah.
it's like impossible to go through all of them in such a short amount of time. But you know,
Well, it's
and say,
quarantine, so you can't now.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You definitely have a lot of time. But like, even with yourself, like I remember trying to like do my research, and you've worked with so many fucking people, and it's like great because the reason why I kind of like featured tracks is because even for the artist that is the one owning it, they had to show up and they had to not get killed on their own shit, and
Yeah.
that's like having like you can't just be like an up and comer and have Eminem on your song because now they're like, oh damn, you heard Eminem's new song and it's on your album, you know what I'm saying? So it just gets robbed
Yeah.
from you. But you hold your
Yeah.
ground on the ones I like for sure.
Thank you. Yeah. I think
Mm-hmm.
that was something that my homie Izzy pretty much kind of instilled in me. He was like, uh, I had put out projects, no one was really on them other than the homies, and he's like, look, it's time to step it up because I was doing MC battles,
Mm.
and I battled some pretty well-known cats that are known to this day that are
Such as
huge in the battle leagues.
like
And
any of them you would like to like mention?
I mean, like, I battled Disaster. That's probably the most
Jesus
well-known.
Christ. That's fucking brutal.
Yeah, this is back when we were doing like dive bars. You couldn't fit more than like 60 people in there.
Mm.
And then a bunch of other people that did pretty well in the battle circuit.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was like, okay, you prove you can rap. You're doing songs, but now do songs with people that can rap.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, okay, because it makes you step up your game as far as being a writer.
Mm.
So sitting there writing a verse where I got to rap alongside Raz Kaz or King Magnetic or Master Ace or whoever, and it forces you to get better or get the fuck out the way. So it's kind of like, baptism by fire. And I always try to come through. I don't half step, so I'm not just gonna bullshit my way through the verse and disappoint people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm embarrassed. And I know that these guys are coming on there and they're coming from my head. So you got to do the same because that's how hip hop gets better. That's how the quality stays the same. Is rhyming alongside these dudes. Not only do you not want to embarrass yourself, but you want to make a great fucking record too. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I feel when it comes to people going on to the radio, is that after people finally reach that plateau, I feel that a lot of them don't take risks anymore. It's just like pure. Let me just try to play it safe the whole time, and people think I hate the radio because of that reason, but it's like I don't, because there's people that like Joey Badass and Kendrick Cole, like they all hit the radio,
Yeah.
but they're still taking risks and doing something new. They're giving it a try. And so that's why I like the up and comers, and I'm always trying to stay focused on the new people, because it's like they're trying to get your attention still, and they're gonna be taking risks as much as they can to get there, and I love it.
And they're pushing the craft forward as far as being an MC, being a songwriter. They're pushing it forward where they're not complacent, and they're like, you know what, I can get by. I'll just rearrange the words from the last song, change the beat up a bit, and motherfuckers won't know because it's going to be played 47 times a day, so it doesn't even really matter. I mean, but that's something that we already kind of understand. If you're doing an interview with somebody like me, you already understand the tricks that they kind of use. The average person doesn't really give a fuck. They don't care. It's everybody else is listening to it, so it's got to be good, right? It's got to be good. I feel like with the type of hip hop that I do, I like to use the analogy of like a burger spot or a taco place in your hood, somewhere down the street, a couple blocks away, where you walk in, you smell it, they're in there, they're cooking, it might be family owned, they're doing it. There may be 2 in the city, maybe 3 or 4, no more than that. But then you go to McDonald's, and this shit is mayo coming out the side, it's missing the pickles you wanted, shit's thrown together, that type of shit. Where the other stuff is kind of, it's made with love. People give a fuck about the ingredients and what goes into it.
Yeah.
So, fast food hip hop, that's pretty much what it is. Everybody's eating it. It's everywhere. It's on every other block. If it's not Carl's Jr., it's McDonald's, so on and so forth. So, yeah, that's kind of the approach I try to take.
Yeah.
We care about our ingredients here, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I always tell people, man, the hole in the wall place is always like better for quality. I don't know why. Like I
But
love
here's
those hole in the wall like burger joints because I like the taste of the bacteria that's on it. Sometimes it adds like a little more flavor. So I mean, shit,
yeah,
man, it's the best thing for it.
the
Hmm.
dude didn't wash his hands.
Yeah, man, like over
But
there
yo,
wiping the sweat off and just like wiping
yeah,
up your burrito or some shit.
drops of sweat got in your burger.
Yeah, exactly,
But
man. If it don't have blood, sweat, and tears in it, I don't want it.
yeah,
Yeah.
with that said, like, you know, I'm just curious how the average person doesn't like hype that up. Like, yo, if this place over here makes the best tacos, why are you in line at Taco Bell or whatever the fuck, Burger King, whatever? Like, why do you give that more light than you give this? I mean, and the simple thing is, again, it's everywhere, and everybody else does it, so it's a safe bet.
Yeah.
That's why I push so hard for people that fuck with me. So like, I'm accessible, and it does bring down the value. Like I talk to people, they come talk to me, they hit me up, they message me. I don't have a problem with that, but it does somewhat devalue what you're doing because you're not a celebrity. You're not trying to play the role as there's no barrier between you.
Mm.
So because they can reach you, they feel like you're on the. Some people feel like you're on the same level and you lose value. And I know a lot of rappers like to do that. They like to put that wall up. For me, I'm like, yo, these are real fucking people. That's who I'm rapping for. So I can act like a complete fucking douche all the time, but then I'm gonna be making music for douchebags. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Yeah. No, I feel you, man, and I think that's the best thing about you keeping it true to yourself because you also have those people that continue writing for you, and that's how you know they're really listening. And like it's like the saying where you rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. You know.
Yeah,
Hmm. Shit.
it's true.
Yep. Yep. I do kind of want to like touch on the album a little more. Because like you have some great features on there. I do want to talk about like some of my favorite songs on there, such as like No Contest, Watch and Learn, or even Fake Love. Because I don't know why I think I'm like a little sucker when it comes to like harmonizing sounds, especially with the Fake Love track.
Yeah,
Shout out Space Honey for that. And
she killed it, right?
yeah, that's why I was like, okay,
Shout out
and
to Space Honey.
and let alone you even getting on that track and just like speaking, exactly what's going on in your that period of your life. It's very relatable. Anyone can really like relate to it. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone experienced it as well. So it's kind of hard not to like be like, okay, this guy's actually really good. He knows how to like deliver a message and such. How do you
I
and
was,
Space Honey get along together?
I was, I was trying to make it sound as genuine as possible, and
Mm.
those are like real experiences. I mean, being in prison and seeing dudes that like, yo, this is their home. Like they fucking like it here. They understand the day to day. Like they're popular in there. They're cool, but it's like, yo, dude, like this ain't where it's at. Like, um, you're seeing like their girls don't come visit them, or you start seeing the things that I mentioned. I've experienced them myself too, and I'm like, wow, you know what? I don't want to make a jail song where it's like real generic. Sounds like, you know what? These are some real things that I've seen,
Yeah.
and just having homies try to fuck your girl when you're locked up. You know,
Oh shit.
that shit is a real thing, and
Mm.
I'm sure it's still happening now. So being able to speak on that and then have a blend, have Space Honey kind of even it out, so it's not just a sad, depressing jail song. She kind of
Mm.
brought a different energy to it, where it's almost like a eerie, ghostly kind of like I don't know. That was a dope song. Like that came together really dope. Um, the other one is No Contest. So shout out to Acrobatic. We did a tour out here, and shout out to Owen Do It for Music. We did a tour with him, a short tour, like 4 or 5 shows or something. San Diego, Southern California mainly, and linked up with him and knocked out the song. Shout out to the homie Max Carnage. Um, that was another one. So, but a lot of people don't know, and I've said this. If you're watching on IG Live, you've heard me say this before. But basically, like that album doesn't sound like it did in the beginning. Like almost all those beats were redone, and some of them came out. I got my master back. I never heard that fucking beat. So I
Mm.
guess some producers don't understand. Like, yo, this when you write to a certain beat, it has a feeling,
Yeah.
and if you change the beat, it changes the feeling. So then if I go back and re-record these rhymes to the new beat you made, it loses that. And then now it's just raps on a beat. I could have just sent you a fucking acapella, that like mixtape shit. I'm not gonna tell you guys which ones, but there's some on there that I have the original versions, and they sound, to me, the emotion is there. A lot of the emotion that I try to capture was in those original recordings. People losing the files and having to redo the shit 4 or 5 times for one song. Bro, by the time you hit the 5th recording session, you're like, man, fuck this song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if it is yours and you wrote it and it means something to you, you're just going through the fucking motion. And you're like, but anyway, nobody knows what songs it is, and I'm grateful because they are some of, people's favorites. The one that people have responded to too is that song Out of Bounds, which is this ain't no West Coast love song. It's time to put in work, better get those gloves on. Nah, this ain't no West Coast love song. It's time to put in work, better get those gloves on. I basically wrote that because living here, seeing a lot of people move here and kind of take the street culture from here, graffiti, the hip-hop culture, the gang culture, just all the street stuff, and then kind of repurpose, repackage, and resell it to us, to the world. So now there's people all over in different countries, different states, that think it's like authentic West Coast shit, and it's not. And it's not to say no one's welcome here, but at the same time, you kind of got to know where you are. So if you're moving to a certain corner of Hollywood, don't tell people you live in LA, because that's almost like living in, that's like the White House, District of Columbia. You know what I'm saying? It's the same, but not the same. So I wrote that song, and I wrote a line in there right after Nipsey passed, rest in peace. I said, you thought it was all Impalas. There's killers on a Huffy that'll spray. My coast don't play, just ask Puffy. Look around, this shit must be new to you. We kill our own heroes. Imagine what we do to you. So it's kind of a message to say, hey, look, be careful because you're out of bounds out here. Like, a lot of legendary rappers have been fucking gunned down out here. Yeah. But I didn't want to make a generic bullshit West Coast song where it's like, cruising down this street and smoking this weed and the weather this and the bitch is that. Like, yo, you've heard that. I'm going to give you this other side that says, yo, if you're going to come out here, be careful and understand this is this, and understand why we're like this. We're like this because people come here and try to take advantage of what we do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
absolutely. And that just goes to show, man. Like, you really can't. There really is no safe haven. You could be walking around, no matter what kind of past you've had. You could be like the most innocent person alive, but you may get cross paths with someone that's really gonna fuck you over, and it just because you just happen to be there. And so. I don't know, because I remember when Nipsey passed, man, it fucked me up a little bit. Because I wasn't, like, the biggest Nipsey fan, like, oh, Nipsey only, but it was like, I listened to his interviews before I listened to his music. And then because of those interviews, I checked out his music, and then now they sat heavier on me for, like, years. And then when he passed away, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, he dropped, like, one of the most classic albums.
The dude was fucking phenomenal as an artist, as a songwriter, as an artist, and as a human being. You know what I'm saying? So that shit, it hurt. Same here. I wasn't an enormous Nipsey fan. I'm not gonna front. I don't got a fucking tattoo anywhere, but dude is dope. He's dope as a person and as an MC, as a rapper. So losing him, that shit kind of hurt. But writing what I wrote, it wasn't any form of disrespect. I'm basically saying, like, yo, out here, it happens to everybody. Good guys, bad guys, everybody fucking loses. So, just be careful when you try to take something from us or you try to do something here. So it's one of those things I had to say. There's a lot of stuff on it that I'm glad I got to say, and that was one of the things.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure everyone that listens to the lyrics and they catch that line, they're not gonna see it as disrespect at all, unless like their maturity isn't that high. But it sits perfectly, personally, because it's you just gotta understand that that's just the reality of the world. No matter, like, just because you're not from this area does not mean that we're not gonna get touch you. If you have to, you will.
And at the same time, like, it's dope having people come from other places here and blending and bringing other flavors here. Like, honestly, my influence is probably more East Coast from what I've heard,
Mm-hmm.
music wise. The Ice Cubes, and there's a lot of people that have influenced me that are from the West Coast, but I've been told that it's more East. So it's not a diss. It's not like, yo, fuck you, don't come out here. It's just more like, look, just know where you are, which
Mm-hmm.
is a constant theme on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Because we're big on, yeah, you're from here, but are you from this part of here? And so on and so forth. And
Mm-hmm.
growing up like that, that's kind of honestly what pushed me to travel outside of the state and travel outside of the country. Because
Mm-hmm.
I go to places where they don't give a fuck where you're from. They're like, yo, are you cool? Or, are you not? Are you shady? Like, do you got it? You can't get it? You're full of shit? I'm moving on. Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming home and you kind of see the contrast and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. But it does make you appreciate both of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, you don't want to have like a disaster situation, and not allowed in New York. Especially after the whole
Yeah.
like him and Matt Hoffa fight. And so I don't know. Like me, I pay attention to a lot of different things going on throughout the years. I do. I am a battle rap fan and stuff. So I mean, like, is that something that you actually like? Like keep up with as well or no?
Honestly, you know what? I haven't for a long time because when I got out of prison, it had turned into something that was like pre-recorded, premeditated,
Mm.
and that kind of shit was frowned upon. Not to say that there's no talent or there's no work put into it. It definitely is, but I I always liked cats that could flow on a beat, hit you with a punchline, flip a different style. To me, that was like you're firing on all cylinders. That was like a real, that was like some MC shit.
Mm.
Um, and it separated the men from the boys because you could tell, like, yo, dude's got a nice flow, but punchlines are or whatever. Mic control, everything counted. Like it was like, did you know how to project your voice? It was all these little factors. And when they started showing me these videos of people doing it in a in a parking structure, and that kind of, I was like, yo, this to me, it it was corny at the time, and I was like, yo, fuck that. Then later on, I understood it, where it was like more about every individual bar.
Yeah.
So I give those dudes props, but honestly, I haven't kept up in a while. Some names, they're familiar, they ring a bell, but others, I'm like, I have no fucking idea. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So if you were to be at like in a radio station, they tell you to like freestyle on spot. You ready for that or not?
Man, I gotta sharpen up my freestyles. Like
Mm.
before being out, you would jump in ciphers, you would jump in sessions, pretty much like every other day. Where like if you were really out doing shit, making moves, trying to make a name, so you were getting better, hopefully getting better like all the time. But then when you transition and you start doing more recording,
Mm-hmm.
uh, there's not a lot of ciphers that just jump off in a fucking studio. Sometimes it's just you, the engineer, maybe one homie or whoever came with you, and that's it. So, I mean, to answer the question, yeah, but I don't feel like it would be what it was when I was back, when I was doing it earlier on. Yeah, for sure, like sway, whatever. Now, I think I need to shake off the rust, to be honest. So like
Mm.
sometimes I'll hear shit and I'll be rhyming in my head, which is usually how it starts. Um, but then I'll take those lines and then write them, put them on my phone and shit, turn them into a verse. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm down, I'm ready. Problem is I don't feel like it would be on par with even where I left off. You know what I'm saying? I think it needs work. It needs work.
Yeah.
I need to work on it for
Nah.
sure.
Shit. Well, I mean, you have all this quarantine
I mean,
going
I
on. You have
shit
enough
you and be
time.
like, oh yeah, all day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could bullshit you and be like, yeah, all day, and then you watch the video and like, damn, that's pretty whack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. But it just proves that we're human. You know what I mean? And if it just needs to be like sharpening it up, whatever, just takes practice. You know. So let's see.
Yeah, and you know what's cool about that is I have found myself in random battles like on tour,
Mm.
and it just kind of reminds you like that energy. Like I did a tour. I was in Pennsylvania, and some dude wanted to battle. Like he just we opened the mic up and he started taking shots, and I was like, all right, so jump on, and we go back and forth, and like it just kind of reminds you, like, oh, okay. And then you're like, you have those moments where you're like, I still got it, but then you're like, damn, I could have said this, I could have done that. So anyway, but yeah, that shit is definitely fun, and sometimes it's entertaining to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that leads right into my next question with performances and stuff. Are there any like memorable performances you've had, or even like just encounters on the road?
I think I've said this before. Like, there was a Necro show. I had performed. This was here in LA. Shout out to Underground Hip Hop Blog. We did a show here with Necro, and I guess the venue didn't hire enough security. So I'm 5'0". So my boy comes, taps me on the shoulder after I performed, and he's like, "Yo, do you mind standing on stage? Because these fucking maniacs are gonna jump up here." And Necro's cool. I had done a tour with Necro, so I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." So I'm up there, and we're kind of like, cats trying to climb on, you push him down, whatever, no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this dude in the front row, and the stage is kind of elevated. So homie was trying to climb up, threw his leg up there, and the crowd is like, it's like a wave. So they're pushing forward, moving back, pushing forward. I couldn't hear him, but I saw him scream. I saw him like just the fucking agony in his face. So from rocking forward, all that force, he snapped his fucking leg.
Oh shit.
So he threw his leg up. He's trying to climb up here. People fucking pushed, broke his leg. So he's screaming. I look at the other dude. He saw it. We gotta grab dude by his shirt and pretty much slide this motherfucker across the stage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
The whole time, Necro didn't miss a fucking line. He didn't miss a step at all. He like a pro, just fucking rhyme right through that shit. That was a good experience. Another one was when I was on tour with Sean P. It was actually the first show, and I had never really met him before.
Are we talking about Sean Price?
And yeah, Sean Price.
Oh, rest in peace.
I had to open up the tour, which means there's all these guys, and then there's like the local guy that's doing his thing, and then after that is me, and nobody there knows who the fuck I am. Maybe a handful of people. So I go up there, and this is in Boston, and I'm up there, and 2-3 songs in, and the crowd is just like this. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to rap my guts out. This is night one. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, fuck. I just gave it everything I had. Halfway through the set, I kind of turned the volume up with each song because I was like, yo, I'm going to make these motherfuckers, like, they're going to feel this. They're going to vibe to this. So I did my set. Halfway through my set, I see something moving by the stage, and it's Sean P. Because, he don't got to be there till later in the evening. And he's walking in, and he's just staring up like this, just listening. He stopped, and he's just listening. And then he went by. And I was like, all right, fuck this whole entire crowd. As long as P made that face, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so what tripped me out was after I was done, then everybody fucking, the room kind of exploded. So what I didn't realize at the time was, I'm in fucking Boston. Like, this is where all the colleges are. This is where all these studious motherfuckers are. So the reason why they're like this is because they're taking apart every little piece, every syllable. And I was like, oh shit. And afterwards, everybody showed mad love. But that was another dope experience because it was one of those sink or swim kind of moments where, like, by song 2, somebody else might have tapped out and be like, yo, fuck this.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties, voice gave out, or whatever corny fucking excuse. But that was another dope experience. I mean, there's been a few. Like, another one, too, is being in Europe and performing, and you're doing new songs, so you don't really know all the words. And the album just came out, whatever, and you're up there and you're performing it, and then you look in the crowd and somebody is rhyming it with you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, how the fuck does he know my song better than me? You know what I'm saying? But they went out, they streamed it, downloaded it, they took it apart, listened to it, memorized it, and you start looking around in the crowd, and now there's 6, 7, 8, 12 people singing this song with you. and it's almost like being not necessarily carried, but they're behind you. So then you kind of like, oh yeah, I do remember the words, and then it just brings up the energy. So that was another one that kind of like that shocked me. Was that was just oh shit,
Yeah.
phone died.
Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah. No
But yeah,
worries, man.
that was
Yeah.
the dope.
I mean, like they captured like the majority of it. You know what I mean? We only have I only have like two more questions left, and then we're out of here. Really. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sorry about that. Yeah, we have dogs here and
No,
shit,
no,
but yeah, that's all
it's
good.
all good. But yeah, uh, yeah, that's kind of like just reliving those moments now. I'm like, damn, I wish quarantine shit was over because the last show I did was with Czarface, and that was really cool. I got a lot of love at that show,
Mm.
and there's nothing like that, bro. Nothing will ever replace that. Doing these like live stream performances or whatever, that's cool. Being a studio rapper, that's cool. But now I want to be in front of people. You know what I mean? I want to climb on and off stage. I want to shake hands, wipe my sweat, take a picture, give a pound, buy a beer for you. You buy, you know what I mean? Share that kind of. I want the experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's like showing that hey, like I'm not here to be only glamorized. You know, I'm here to just be cool with you and everything too. You know, you support me. You know what I can. That's the least I can do. You know. So I feel you on that, man. And like one thing for
Yeah,
sure, dude. After all this quarantine's up, I do want to try to get like an in person like conversation or something. You know, put it out there on record.
yeah. If you're nearby, I mean, shit. I'm right here in Whittier, so
Hmm.
once this is done, I'm down to travel. We'll link up and do this again.
Oh, I'm all for it. Hmm. So,
Or
two more questions and we're dipping out of here. But where do you see yourself in 5 years?
uh, you know what? Working, probably working on something new. Like
Mm.
I'm so in the bubble. Like I'm in the playbook all the time. I'm scrimmaging. That's me. I'm not imagining getting out of a particular car or walking into a certain restaurant or having a certain watch or whatever. Like those kind of things. Even a location. Like I can't say in 5 years I'm gonna be in Rome. I see myself walking here.
Mm.
Law of attraction and all that other shit. But even if I was in Rome, I'd probably be writing rhymes in my fucking head about gladiators and Spartacus and fucking Julius Caesar and Brutus and you know what I'm saying? Because that's just the way the shit is kind of wired.
Yeah.
So inside, I would say that's kind of where I would be.
Hmm. Cool, cool. And then for
Five
yeah.
years, still.
Hmm. So I would guess we'll end it on here where it says do you have any last minute words or like pieces of advice for those that are trying to pursue this kind of career? If not, just like simple lifestyle tip.
I think one thing that's been on my mind a lot lately is uh, my boy said it earlier before I called you.
Mm-hmm.
Before this, he was like, "Yo, you should put these other indie artists on game about this and this and this and that." And I was like, "Nah, fuck that, because then I'll lose my advantage." But I'm half joking. But one thing that I've been thinking about a lot is we kind of get suckered into this keep it real thing, where you're told that things got to be done a certain way, and really it's almost like a little corral to keep you in, where it's like, nah, you can't do that. You got to keep it real. You can't do this. You got to keep it real. And I'm not talking about street codes and things like that. I mean, those are obvious. You got to live with that every day. That's outside of the rap world. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying within the industry, you get told to keep it real, but a lot of times you can say something, and egos are very delicate, especially in rap. You can say something, and it can get misquoted. Next thing you know, like you got an entire group of people that won't fuck with you. They
Yeah.
won't tune in. They won't listen. They won't support, and it had nothing to do with anything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying don't have an opinion. My advice would be just be selective. Know when to act a fool and who to act a fool with, because I made that mistake. And I feel like every now and then I catch myself making the same mistake where I'm a little too vocal about certain things,
Mm-hmm.
and it pisses off people. And because of the internet, they're able to do things that they definitely wouldn't do in real life. So my advice to artists is what you say, because if you're gonna get in the music industry, that's just gonna affect you, big time.
Yeah, man, this is why I love asking this question in interviews. You know, everyone has a different answer every single time. You know, I've gotten everything from like don't stop asking for advice all the way down to just keep going, don't give up, and then now I'm glad that you said that. That's very true, and I just think people can just take that with them and just regular life in general. You know, it doesn't have to be only music.
I think it falls somewhere between the other two, where it's like, yeah, don't give up, but watch what you say, because people are going to try to make you give up, because they're going to make it hard because of something you did or said that offended them. But don't give up. And then on the other side, it's never stop asking for advice. But if you don't take those people's advice and do what they say, they can get offended. And then they become this other side. And see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it falls somewhere in the middle.
Exactly. You got to find a balance.
But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, man? I really can't appreciate you giving me your time of day enough. Honestly, I'm happy we got this through. You know, we'll get this in-person interview after all this lifts up, and we'll get more in depth with your music. Because personally, there's like too much to even like, you know, try to ask in such a short amount of time before people just get bored of hearing it just for the same hour or so. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, for sure. Nah, I appreciate you hitting me up too. I'm glad we made it happen.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody. I always say this at the end. Like, yo, if you made it this far, thank you. You know what I'm saying? And if you got whoever checks this out, if they got any questions they want to ask me, they can comment on this, and then maybe you can ask those the next time when we link up in person.
Oh, hands down, I'm all for it. You know, and so fuck it, man. You know, we'll call it right here. So just like an intro, I don't have an outro as well, but I do go by Tony Awdball. This is an odd conversation here with a very special guest.
Pawz One.
All right, man. Thank you so much, man. We'll be in contact more, dude. For sure, man. Peace.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. You too.